First and foremost, no, the thumbnail is not clickbait. I am not about that. I wanted to get this video out real quick, down and dirty, to warn you guys of an issue that we're seeing that's become a trend of customers not checking their head unit, the ride command, GTS radio, aftermarket radios, EQ, your phone's EQ, Samsung, Android, and the music streaming service apps EQ as well, such as Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, and what the repercussions of not checking that can cause downstream for OEM audio systems or even aftermarket systems. I'm going to warn everybody now, this video is going to be short, just because I want to get the information out there. We will do a much deeper dive into this I think we're going to start like a system design or system explanation series video. I know about a year or so ago I talked about doing it and I dropped the ball on it, so we're going to actually do that. The premise of this video is to bring awareness that I need y'all, which is, this falls on me because I didn't do this video sooner and I haven't warned y'all about this. We did do a quick little video about, what we need from you guys with the EQ, but without seeing this trend in it, I wanted to get ahead of it now, get this out there, and especially for future customers, make sure they see this video so that way we don't have this continued. And the trend is that we're seeing people with phones. So for example, on iPhones, you can go in there and change your EQ setting, which ends up being an issue because you can set an EQ there. And then we talk to them about their ride command, and then the ride command has an EQ on it. So now we're multiplying this effect. It's a snowball, goes down, and then everything from the DSP out gets affected and causes issues. So let's start with your phone. The biggest thing I tell customers is if you want the best quality out of your phone, now I'm not saying this is the end all be all, I'm just giving my professional opinion. When it comes to iPhones, the best music streaming service is Apple Music. That's been the best one that I found as far as quality, consistency, and then beyond that, it's going to be Spotify Premium. I always tell people pay for the paid versions of these apps because it's going to give you more consistent, better quality throughout your use of the Wow, I can't talk today. Of the application. When it comes to Androids, I usually just recommend people to stick with Spotify paid. It's the best one we found and that we use here in house. Now, I'm not saying, I know there's other ones. I will say I'm not a fan of Pandora. I'm not a fan of Amazon Music, really. SiriusXM app is kind of here or there. I know people use Tidal, and there's other apps. I'm just simply talking from my experience. My rule of thumb is Apple Music paid, Spotify Premium paid. Those are going to be the best two signal sources that we've used that are the most consistent. They're good go-tos. Again, I'm not telling you that you can only get those ones. I'm just warning you that, one, I would never invest in an aftermarket system and do a free app. That's just, it's not worth it. You guys spend so much money, get the best signal that we can to have the best system overall. In both of those, let's say with iPhone, you can go into your settings. You're going to go hit your little gear icon, slide the screen down, you have a search bar, search EQ, and then you'll see the Apple Music icon. Click on that, it'll come up. Make sure that is off. And then the next thing you want to do is you'll hit back and you'll slide down. You'll see this thing called Sound Check. And what Sound Check does is it listens to what you're listening to and how loud you're listening to it, and it will actually throttle the volume down to protect your ears, which will have an adverse effect on the audio system out. So make sure you guys turn that off as well. You will notice a very good, I would say 3 dB difference, which is decibels, just by having that on or off. Now we'll go over to Spotify. Spotify Premium is about the same procedure for both. You'll go in there, you'll click your account, you'll go to settings, and then it's like audio streaming and audio quality. You're gonna wanna go in there, and there you'll see like, hey, what settings do you want? I always tell customers go the highest quality setting that you can. And then also you'll see the EQ in there, make sure that is flat. That is going to be the start of what you want to do. You want to make sure that your signal source, which is where you're getting your music from, has the flattest EQ possible, because if you boost anything, I'll explain this at the end, there's a multiplication effect going down the road. From your signal source, your phone, you're going to be going to your head unit, which is either going to be an OEM ride command on an Indian, the GTS radio, the non-GTS radios on Harleys, or for Harleys aftermarket like Soundstream, Diamond Audio, and Rockford Fosgate, sorry. On all these head units, there's an EQ feature. So you want to make sure you go into your EQ and you flatten that. You just want it right in the middle, across the board, flat. That's really the only adjustment you have to do. And then usually we tell customers, depending on the bike, put the fader in the middle or all the way to the front. Depends on how the system's been tuned. We'll get into those details later. And from there with your system, like if you get a system from us, you're gonna have a DSP. So it goes phone, head unit, DSP, then audio equipment. Now if you have an aftermarket head unit, you just go from that to RCAs to your amplifier, you can do that as well. Or for people that have line out converters, you can put that in there and send the signal to your aftermarket equipment. We just don't do that. I'm not gonna get in that in this video. The premise is that whatever you use to go from the head unit to the amplifier, like a line out converter, especially a DSP, you can set the input sensitivity and gains and the output. So for example, with Indians, we have such low voltage that we have to increase the output voltage of that DSP to our equipment to get our target voltage, which is 4 volts usually, is what we want output, because most amplifiers do really well at 4 and below, especially like Sound Digital. It's important to know that, because when we set it, all right, off of a flat EQ on your phone, flat EQ on the ride command, the DSP knows I'm getting this in. I'm going to bring it up to here because I have 4 volts. That's what we want to see. That's a clean, undistorted signal. What that means is it's clean. There's going to be no clipping, no distortion, no burning of equipment, very clean signal. It's the best that we're going to get. Now, if you say hypothetically, the issue that we're having is we're seeing people increase the EQ in the bass frequency. For this analogy, I'm just going to give you rough numbers, so please don't jump in the comments and be like, well, that's wrong, that's not that. I'm giving you ease of numbers. Let's say that the bass frequencies are 250 hertz and below, all right? If you were to bring those up on your phone, do like an EQ like R&B and hip hop and maybe rock, usually it ends up being like increased in those frequencies, comes down, a small blip, and then back up. Let's say hypothetically that you have increased the bass frequencies by 3, which would be 3 dB on the phone. But then you feel like, all right, cool, I really haven't gotten much. So you go into your touchscreen on your bike, your head unit, and you do the same thing. So now we're at plus 6 dBs. But now you have to realize that in our DSP, let's say on an Indian example, we've increased the voltage output of that to meet our 4. So now let's say that's also a 3. So now you've stacked 9 dBs of boost per se in the bass frequency, and now you're sending that voltage into an amplifier, which now boosts it again. So now by the time that DSP even gets a signal, it's clipping, it's distorted, it's a dirty, nasty signal. So now that it's gone through your phone, through your head unit to the DSP, now the DSP is getting a jacked up signal into it. Now it's going to step it up, jack it up even more, which then goes in your amplifier, jacks it up even more, and sends it out to your system. The end result usually ends up being, one, you blow speakers first, so you'll either end up smelling like an electrical smell in them, or they'll just stop. Like if you were to go ohm them out, it would probably read 0 when it should read 2 or 4 or 8. And then the other issue is that we had an instance where a customer had no idea this was going on. He didn't check his EQs, which that's on me. We took care of him. And he blew 2 of the speakers and didn't realize it. Ended up being 3 out of the 4 speakers were blown, which then, because of that load, and he continued to try to use it, fried an amplifier and ended up going backstream and jacked the DSP up. So I'm just letting everybody know that I have to warn you all about this, because it's a compounding effect. Sorry if there was a transition there, Bill came up. It's not really a big deal. We're really busy here today. I want to emphasize that it sounds like it's very small and it's like, ooh, I get more bass. It's causing such a chain reaction at the end that it's not healthy for the system. It's going to completely ruin it. We set these systems up to give you the max out of it that we can, that's safe, and it's going to last. Now, if you're a customer that's like, hey, I just want bass, we go back to system design. That's where it all comes down to. We will do a series on that. I just wanted to take the time to explain this to y'all, how important phone and head unit EQing is to ensure that your system lasts and it's gonna sound really darn good for the life of the system. So let's just recap this real quick so we can close it off, as we're gonna do a much deeper dive video later. Everything starts with the signal source, which is usually your cell phone. Samsung, Android, doesn't matter, or iPhone, it doesn't matter. You have to check your EQ in your phone. After that, it's a streaming service app. Like we said here, we recommend Apple Music paid or Spotify Premium paid. You have to go into the app and check your EQ. And then from there, it's your head unit, which is gonna be, you know, the OEM ride command for an Indian. The Harley's gonna be a GTS radio, the non-GTS radio, or the big new touchscreen one, or an aftermarket radio like Diamond, Rockford, and Soundstream. You wanna make sure all of those are flat, because your DSP, or even a line-out converter, you set the gains on a line-out converter according to everything else. You wanna make sure everything's flat, so that way your DSP or line-out converter can do the work that it needs to do safely and effectively to give your system the cleanest signal possible. So that's our, as you say, PSA, public service announcement, to everybody in the aftermarket audio industry. Even the OEM, people are complaining about blowing OEM speakers. This is part of the reason why. If you're boosting everything, the system can't handle it. So please, take this video for what it is. Please apply it to your system. Check your stuff for us. And if you have any questions, please give us a call. It's 607-800-1032, and we'd be more than happy to walk you through it, discuss it further, do anything that we can to help y'all make sure your system sounds the best that it can, and it absolutely lasts. I hope this video was informative. I hope it gets the information out there that I wanted it to. I wanted it to be sweet and short. It's a little bit longer because I rambled on, but that's the information we want to get out to you. So please apply it to your situation. I hope it helps. And if you need any further help, just make sure you check us out. Davidson Audio here in Panama City, Florida. We'd be happy to help you with your motorcycle audio, car audio, whatever it is. We're here to help. So just let us know. God bless all of you. Have a great day.